Milam, Cook.
And that's where we're on the hallway. All right, let's go through the agenda real quick.
I got a lot of questions about that.
Well, what?
So real quick, I got a lot of questions about that.
Here, read them.
Okay. All right, we'll go through the agenda. All right, on the minutes,
Did you get them? Minutes?
Yes, I sent them.
What?
read it.
Yes, yeah, whenever the,
We didn't know.
and just a reminder, if you ever know you think you didn't get them before, you can send me an email or a text message and I'll get them to you right away.
On the bills. Any questions on the bills? What? Oh, I know. All right, next resolution to replace the heating system in fire headquarters at Burroughs Bay.
This is just a secret. from
This
that.
is the secret. Yep. Okay, next is auction, property. At 445 on Creek Road. Was this published 3 times?
It was not yet, that's just the terms of sale, that's what we're in the terms, we have a reserve bid of $30,000,
Okay,
and. So we're just approving the terms and then we'll publish.
okay, and it has to be published for.
Correct.
Any questions on this?
We don't need to reserve them to not sell it, right?
Correct.
Yep, correct.
All right. Next is another seeker, to replace the damaged playground in the restroom. I think it's athletic field. One is not so, oh, it's not. Is it? Yeah, she's-
I know it's on the bond. And it's going to lead to, I guess, question, but. Is there, this is a. I'm sorry, we got a grant for that one? Is that
Originally,
for the playground?
no, we're here, finally for right now, but we need.
We're fine. Okay.
And we had a company come out, give us all the, it was about maybe $30,000-$40,000 for that, we also reduce bathroom too, so we're doing everything we can in that area to make that area more pleasant, for people coming into the city town moment, and the living issue town, because playgrounds are match, everyone's a match over there, so we do the playground, the bathrooms and everything, so we get it all in.
Full scope of the work and everything.
Full scope, yeah. You know, hopefully we'll get it.
All right, now we're gonna bunch of bond resolutions. So, the first one is for the various city sidewalks, and walkways and other improvements. Max cost of $360,000. Any questions on that? We're on the council on it.
What do you? I'm sorry, what was in the budget for the sidewalks? 360? Usually.
Well, you have the chips, you have, Jason, what's the budget for the sidewalks?
It's 360 total. It's made up of funding from the CDBG project, which we're getting a $150,000 grant on, 200,000, and then the rest of the city.
And that's taking care of, like, what tier of sidewalk?
I'd have to look. We're probably down to 7s, 6 and 7s. Yeah, something like that. It varies by ward too. So Sean, just so you're aware of this, sort of the schedule on these things. reason we don't have an identified project yet for this entire, and we don't cut off requests until May. And then we do our inspections, we do the final rating. for the project, really.
And then in May, you decide what sidewalks under 300.
Yeah, and there's some that have come in over the last year we haven't seen yet. Gotcha. So once those are all inspected, we'll put the final rating.
All right, next is bond resolution for capital improvement project consisting of new construction and construction of the improvement to the city's fire department headquarters. Consisting primarily of the heating system. Max cost of 200,000. I noticed there's a typo. Right at the bottom of resolution, I don't know if it just says. It says CTY apostrophe S. Black woman.
Tough questions on that too. Is there any grants associated with that, or is that straight up?
This is a.
There is no grants associated with it.
And the 200,000 is, what's the scope of that? Like, is that replacing the actual furnace and everything too, or is that?
So we have a boiler system at fire headquarters. We're gonna replace the 4 ceiling heaters and add the infrared heat in between the apparatus. To accommodate, the boiler is set lower than what those heaters are rated at. So they're not performing very well. They run constantly. And they're original to the building. So with Stark's recommendation, they would replace those 4 heating units and add the infrared in between that.
Thank you.
All right, so I made a motion to amend this resolution. To the typo. I would say CITY. Instead of CTY. Is there a second, all those in favor?
I.
All right, are we doing council? Sorry. All right. Eight. This is the main pump station. Next we got one from you. Questions on this? Council?
Again, just a question, is there any grant money involved with this? It's straight up fine. It's not-
Yeah, that's city funded. There is a clarification I didn't want to make on this one though. I think it says it here somewhere. Scope of the project has not changed. The original bond resolution has not changed significantly, but we did the original scope. Remember, we had that issue with pump number 1.
Yes.
We couldn't pull pump number 1 out because the discharge valve 1 failed. Can't replace discharge valve 1 unless you can bypass the entire station. So the original scope was put in a bypass and replace discharge valve 1, period. We increased that scope. Station is going to be out of commission to replace suction valves on pumps 2 and 3. The discharge valves on pumps 2 and 3, suction valve are the check valves on 1, 2, and 3. And then the station influent valve as well. There's a big gate at the influent we're replacing as well. So we had a lot of additional valve work in the project.
So while it's down, might as well fix it.
Yeah,
Make sure
it makes
it's
sense.
fixed and
All these valves are 55 or so years old at this point. So we've already had to replace one on an emergency basis. And because it was a cut-in valve, it was 90,000 just for the 1 valve. So it makes sense to do these all now while the station's down.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, resolution 9. We actually authorized this back in 2023. We have funding from the county for this. Jason and I spoke earlier today for the council meeting. The county has already authorized us to spend this. We have the funding for it. So there's gonna be I'm gonna make a motion to table this resolution. And Jason, at some point, we're gonna have an updated resolution that includes the exact figure.
Yeah, so the issue with this one is, it's kind of a bookkeeping resolution. Financially, it doesn't impact the city. Because council's already authorized an $800,000 spend on this project, and we have the $800,000 checks from the county. So we've got 1.6 that we can already spend. But, just to kind of keep things clean, we want to amend the bond resolution so it includes the total project cost and not just what was authorized to borrow. So that'll be an amending resolution that comes in later.
So I'll make a motion to table. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Armstrong, Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Cheesley.
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Ravenscroft,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
Aye, resolution 9 is tabled. The bond resolution authorizing the reconstruction and construction of improvements of Mail Spring Bridge overlook. Not improvements. Next cost, $600,000. Any questions on this?
This one we definitely, the grant might come back to the end.
Yeah.
Fine.
And you,
Fine.
when the final bid page came out, I will just change it, but we're gonna cover it somewhere else. Yeah, but from John, you can still cover it.
No, that's great. It's much needed.
Oh, while we're running.
Council on this?
Sure.
Next is capital improvement project, at City Hall. With the window replacement. After seeing $650,000. Questions on this?
Is this all the windows on this north side here? Or all the way around?
I thought they were all the way around.
This is it's all the windows on City Hall, does not include PD aside from the detective's office is downstairs. It includes those. This is also another bookkeeping resolution, so we've already authorized enough money to do the entire project. We've got a grant of $250,000 from DASNY, and then the money that the city's already authorized will cover the cost of the project. There's no new borrow. We're not going to market for any more money. It's just, again, to change, they have the whole project cost accounted for here. And this actually also includes money for the east side entrance repair as well. So it's really two projects that are relevant to this.
Anything with the glass blocks out here or?
No, it's just the regular windows. It doesn't include glass block windows or those full length. You know, picture windows, I guess you call them, like out here in the lobby for the atrium.
Any questions on that? All right, now we're on 12. This fund resolution is capital improvement project for the improvements to DPW, which is the roof replacement. We met with Jason earlier. Initially, Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, initially, the plan was just to replace a certain section of the DPW roof, and then it was required that we do a full replacement.
Yeah, so when Joe was here, I know he said that he had the roof guys up looking at the admin building. And they fixed something like 50 some odd leaks over the admin building. So the initial authorization was to replace the roof over the administration building. It's a little under 13,000 square feet. When I met with council in early January, we pulled council and I was authorized to go ahead and initiate discussions with CPL to do an amendment to their contract to include, David informed me the other roofs that need to be replaced. That includes the roof over the mechanic shop, the welding shop, and the actual vehicle storage bay, which is like another 47,000 square feet of additional roof space. That also involves removing these solar panels, storing them, and then reinstalling the solar panels. And then council authorized on the second February meeting, authorized the amendment to the CPL resolution.
Member Council?
Before we move on to the other one, while we're still on the bond. Um. And we're adding. 2 million here, just off the top of your head, I should ask this beforehand, how much are we paying that service right now? How much have we bonded out there?
For current year?
Well, I mean, it looked like there was. Say. 2 million, yeah, we're paying your principal and about 700,000 we're paying in interest. So what do we have?
3 million.
So it's at about 10-20 million outstanding.
I think it's like 18.
About 18, so just under 18. Gotcha. And that's roughly about 10-year bonds average.
Yeah, nothing's older than that. I think it's more current. Yeah.
Gotcha. And I haven't seen it in a while. I just pull it up. Do we have anything coming to its end within the next year or two, or do?
I don't think anything major.
Not money more than. Cool.
Less.
Yeah.
About. 9, yeah.
So I guess. You'd be easy math on that, so that's gonna come out to. I mean, the amount that we're bonding in principal. So if we're paying about
Also,
seven,
it's banned, so we don't pay the principal on it until we permanently finance it, right? You just pay the interest.
right,
Until we
the worst case scenario, if we started all these projects this year.
start fucking permanently financing them. I can't pull that number out of my head right now.
All right, next is resolution authorizing the mayor to sign all documents between the county of Erie and the city of Tonawanda for the grant that we received from Erie County legislators John Barnese in the amount of $500,000 to be used for the funding of the refurbishments of the restrooms located at Niagara Park
And everything.
and Veterans Park. Yeah.
So this is just to see those grants.
No,
We're gonna try them and.
Right, but I mean.
we already have the commitment for it.
You said
Yes,
it's signed.
signed.
Yeah, probably signed.
And then when will we be able to move forward with the work with that effect?
Yeah, once we send the paper back, they want this money back, we just went. We have enough in there, we start working at any time, so they wouldn't be ready to us. Want to got this one here, we got the one for the veterans party, we're next, I'm embarrassed with that, obviously, I'm a bicycle. And we'll get a decision on one, we have to know the far, and we have to go over to the building, we're decision on that, because that one is, well, I don't even think it's operable, even old, so that's cracks falling, it's not structurally sound. We may have to resolve it. With those two, and you have to one, the new one, they're right up at the town, with the walk bridge, so you got. Divers Park, one for walk bridge, and the ones, and adventure. We have to do it, we'll make the conversation.
Makes sense.
Thank you.
All right.
I was gonna say this also has the splash pad waiting for that's on.
Well, no, what that means is that if we can do some of the work with our own house people. To save a ton of money, and I can use that money for the additional that was overage on the splash pad. We need about $40,000. We have about $100,000 left over. So I want to make sure we had enough money, so I want to name splash back in there, splash pad, because you wanted Parks and Rec to use it for it. It's still Parks and Rec. But I want to at least, hey, you use it for, no, we use it for exactly what I said we were going to do, and that's what it is.
I was just gonna mention, that's a lot of projects for $500,000, so I like the we don't though, they broke ground on the splash pad.
Oh, I know.
They broke ground. You guys have done their
Yeah,
project. That's
I was
awesome.
gonna announce it tonight.
That was great, thank you.
Yes. And you're broken, I'm gonna say,
You can't do something 500 feet from my house without me seeing it.
well, you're 3 days late then.
No, I saw it, I would have,
Yeah.
yeah, waiting. Oh, Oh, well, they record these meetings.
Say what, did I?
Alright, next is a resolution,
Who's taking this?
I wrote down council.
I didn't hear it.
I'm sorry, no, I probably just had planning there either. Alright, next resolution authorizes and appropriates a minimum of 10% local match as required by the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation and Historic Preservation Municipal Parks and Recreation Grant Program. For funding relative to the East Athletic Field. Questions on this?
Pretty vague, and then a 10% matching, we have a total that will be that.
Not at the, exact total this time, but the match will be very minimal. For what we're getting
I
out
just
of
didn't
it,
know if we had a scope of it.
for what we're getting out of it, I'm also big up. When they do something like this, what they think of is, you gotta do a 10% match, but if
That's
we,
in services.
the services, we do services, we're already well over 10%, so we'll definitely cover that, so we'll not cost it. For sure, but we need to show that.
That's right.
Okay, you want to tell someone?
Sure.
Then the next three are special event applications. First, we're on the first, United, yeah. Any questions on resolution 15? Sponsored by Councilmember Armstrong. Any questions on resolution 16? Pop up, let's think of that. Next is resolution 17, the Buffalo Freedom Eagle Run event. Questions on this?
Yes, where they have it.
You have application for class?
Yes, I can, it's along Niawanda. It goes a little bit into the Erie County Park. So they're gonna get a special event approval through Erie County Parks and Rec as well. But the majority of it is in Niawanda along the running path or bike path.
Chief, do you know if you received a map? From this?
Yeah, I think.
It was part of the application that went around to all the department heads.
Yeah. July 20th, it's the last day of the council, we're gonna shut down the Riverwalk. To do a 5K. As long as that lasts, you know?
I don't know. I think all the details were on the application that went through all the departments in the mayor's office.
Do you think that's gonna conflict with Canal Fest?
It's a 5K.
It's a
Because it's not
so that's the
stated
last
in
day,
here.
it's the last day of the event.
Well, I mean, if they're gonna have a 5K, at, 8 AM and they only last at 10 AM, I wouldn't.
Yes.
Yeah, they're gonna have 2 in the afternoon versus.
And they'll feel the time frame, the length of theirs and the time frame, that there's gonna be much of a positive.
Oh, okay.
No, I've been communicating with the it's like there.
Yes. Traditionally, 5Ks are usually early morning.
Yeah, they basically, so we don't just get the line.
I run too early.
It's hard, right? Okay. I'm running, you guys should do too.
Questions on this? We'll take it. Okay, next is a resolution, relative to the main pump station bypass construction. The American Contract and Environmental Services. Questions on this?
This is in the farm. Oh, this is the bond. Is this in relation to the bond?
I think this is a relation to, do you have the bid on this?
Yeah,
Or
this
bid?
is, the bid results are in the attachment that we sent to the council letter. This is actually a bid, so this is what the bond is funding.
Okay.
Okay. The next sponsor is Armstrong, Robinson Paving, for the bid. Any questions on that? Okay,
Something that rate for. Even the Chevy company every year, pretty close to great work for it to go through.
okay, then next is resolution 20. Naming Bob, the little patch at Niwanda, Bob Gregg. Chief, Gregg. Oh, Bob Gregg Road. Questions? All right, do we have Zach?
I do.
Okay. Perfect, so we got-
No.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to go into executive session for personnel of particular people. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Mr. Sheasley.
Give me a second, I'm going to.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. All right, thank you. You may be seated. Bid openings per your agenda. I'd now like to turn it over to the mayor for his presentation of the Veteran of the Month. Mayor?
Thank you, Madam President. Welcome, everybody. This is a great program because what it does is it helps us honor our men and women who served our country. And every month we do one. And tonight is a great one of ours, a good old friend who I coached with for many years in the football clinic, and it is Dennis Berndt. Dennis Berndt graduated from Tonawanda High School in 1964 and entered the U.S. Navy, also referred to as the Nuclear Navy, on May 22nd, 1966. On the USS Holland, third-class petty officer, Dennis was certified by the Atomic Energy Commission as a radiation control monitor. Recipient of the National Defense Service Medal, Dennis was honorably discharged on March 17, 1970, and served with the U.S. Naval Reserve until March 21st, 1972. From 1970 and 72, Dennis attended Erie Community College, where he got his GI Bill and earned his associate's degree in criminal justice. He began his career in the City of Tonawanda Police Department in October 1972, retiring after 29 years in 2001. During his career as a police officer, Dennis patrolled the streets for 19 years on a motorcycle as a member of the City of Tonawanda Motorcycle Division, and was one of the department's firearms instructors. In August of 1966, he was awarded the City of Tonawanda Police Officers Department Medal of Valor. After retirement, Dennis was an assistant director of the city's disaster preparedness plan team. In September of 75, Dennis married his late wife, Joanne, and is proud father of two sons, John and Jeffrey, and grandfather of four grandchildren. For many years, Dennis volunteered his time as coach at both Little League football and with Tonawanda American Little League. Dennis, at this time, we want to thank you for your honorable service to your community and your honorable service to the City of Tonawanda. Please come up, Dennis. Dennis, you got some guests with you.
Yeah,
Would you like to announce who your guests are?
all the old guys, former chief, current chief. Dan Brady, Phil St. Jean, Rich Carrett. What else we got here?
How about your immediate family?
It's usually. You got. John's offspring, Jack, his wife Lena, and Abby.
How are you? Yeah, you're very proud, I'm sure we are, so. We want to thank you, Dennis, and we're going to give you this, signed by Council President myself. And this is basically to acknowledge the fact that, this will be hanging in the, corridor, Dennis, we have one on that side. But I'll hold this one up, okay, never sign it. We're going to give it- This will hang up there till next month, when we pick the new one up, but this is the one that we'll give to you and be hanging up there, we want to say thank you. So I got a smile with you. Right. So let her sign, pick the good one, that's the big one.
You have to sign this.
You want your brotherhood to come up too?
It's the boys up there. I can't believe I forgot. I don't want to be in the picture anyways. See the second one, Jenna? I'm so flustered, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I hope you are just as bad as I am. Man.
He wants you up there. Get up there. Come on, we gotta get out of here tonight sometime.
Thank you.
In about 10 minutes to get up there.
Here you go, sir. Get it out of the way.
Steve, you want to hear?
Yes.
No chief of police.
Mine's you, chief. They didn't like you before. What do you think you could help them?
I think I brought fire. That's a proof that I fired.
Snealing.
All right.
Okay, moving right along.
Just give everybody a second to. Okay, communications from the mayor have been ordered and filed. Communications from city officials and correspondents have also been ordered and filed. This time we'll now take comments by the public on the resolutions. For those that are joining us in person, please approach the microphone. For those that are joining us virtually, there is a spot for you to raise your hand. Please do so and the clerk will call upon you. Mr. Clerk, any residents joining virtually wish to address the council on the resolutions?
No, ma'am.
All right, hearing none. Let's proceed. Mr. Fisher, you had a motion?
Yeah, I was gonna make a motion to table resolution number 1.
Okay.
As we wait to see the minutes.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Fisher. I will second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Teasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Elementary school.
Mr.
Rautenstrau,
Clerk, please mute. Who's ever,
Mylum,
Aye.
Mr. Clerk, please call Mr. Rautenstrau's vote again.
I'm sorry, Mr. Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye. Resolution 1 has been tabled.
Madam President,
Mr. Mylum,
you have to make a motion to forego the reading of the resolutions number 2 through 19.
we have a motion on the floor by Mr. Mylum to waive readings 2 through 19. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sheasley. Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the waiving of the readings for resolution 2 through 19.
May I proceed, Council President?
Yes, Mr. Clerk.
Resolution 2, sponsored by Councilmember Mylum.
We have a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Sheasley. Comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution 3, sponsored by Councilmember Rounstrau.
We have a second. Second by Mr. Mylum. Comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 4, sponsored by Councilmember Sheasley.
I'll second. Comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 5, sponsored by Councilmember Sheasley.
I'll second. Comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 6, sponsored by the council.
Seconded by the council. Comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 7, sponsored by the council.
Seconded by the council. Comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Resolution 8, sponsored by.
Mr. Clerk, you have to call my vote.
I'm sorry, pardon me, Madam President, Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Apologize about that. I was flipping through the bond pages and I was getting ahead of myself. Resolution number 8, sponsored by the council.
Seconded by the council. Comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Sheasley.
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau, Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted. Just as a formality, we had tabled resolution 9 in our informal. I will do it again on the floor. This was sponsored by myself, seconded by Councilmember Rounstrau. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll to table resolution 9.
Yes, ma'am. Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum.
Aye.
Cook,
Aye, declare resolution 9 tabled.
resolution number 10, sponsored by the council.
Seconded by the council. Comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau.
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye, declare the resolution adopted.
resolution 11, sponsored by the council.
Seconded by the council. Comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook,
I declare the resolution adopted.
resolution number 12, sponsored by the council.
Seconded by the council. Comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook,
I declare the resolution adopted.
resolution number 13, sponsored by the council.
Seconded by the council. Comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook,
I declare the resolution adopted.
resolution 14, sponsored by the council.
Seconded by the council. Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau, Mylum,
Aye.
Cook,
I declare the resolution adopted.
resolution number 15, sponsored by Councilmember Rounstrau.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Sheasley. Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook,
I declare the resolution adopted.
resolution number 16, sponsored by Councilmember Rounstrau.
Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Mylum. Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook,
I declare the resolution adopted.
resolution number 17, sponsored by Councilmember Rounstrau.
Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Fisher. Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook,
I declare the resolution adopted.
resolution number 18, sponsored by the council.
Seconded by the council. Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook,
I declare the resolution adopted.
resolution number 19, sponsored by Councilmember Rounstrau.
Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Mylum. Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Rounstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook,
I declare the resolution adopted.
resolution 20, sponsored by Councilmember Fisher.
Seconded by Councilmember Rounstrau. Mr. Clerk, you have to proceed with the reading of the resolution.
Whereas Robert Bob Gregg was a local artist, an advocate for public artwork, and involved with the City of Tonawanda Visual and Performing Arts Board for 15 years. And whereas the city and community has benefited from the local art installations created or contributed to by Bob Gregg, such as the painting of the utility boxes throughout the city, with the signature box being the sunflower at Broad Street and Delaware Street, the glow-in-the-dark fish that once adorned the Riverwalk, the prairie tulip art installation at the river, the Tonawanda mural at the corner of Broad Street and Seymour Street, and the annual Art on the Riverwalk, now in its 21st year. And whereas the City of Tonawanda Visual and Performing Arts Board plans to continue the prairie tulip art installation at the river with the art created by Bob Gregg. And whereas the enactment of this resolution bears no cost to the city, as this is an emblematic naming of a grassy knoll. Now therefore, be it resolved, the Common Council hereby names the grassy area inside Niawanda Park that is north of Niagara Street at the intersection of Franklin, parentheses, opposite 369 Niagara Street, from the bike path that runs north from Franklin Street to the Empire State Trail Riverwalk, to the parking lot on the southern part of the grassy area, Bob Gregg Grove, and be it further resolved that this name change shall take effect on June 1st, 2025.
Comments or questions?
Comment.
Mr. Fisher?
For the people in the audience, if they want afterwards, I do have pictures of the area. It's a small plot of grass. And for those familiar, there's a barrel down there and the anchor that's encased with chain link around it. And that barrel is where Bob Gregg used to put these fiberglass flowers into the barrel, and he would look like flowers coming out of a vase. And he called it the prairie tulip area, and the Visual Arts Board plans on continuing that. To say some words, our council has the right and the duty to pay tribute to the citizens of this city whose hard work and dedication to civic endeavors enhance our city. And in the case of Bob Gregg, it was through public art. Bob Gregg was known widely for his tireless efforts to promote public art. His work is evident in the public art that he was a part of, the painting of the electrical boxes, the big Tonawanda mural, the prairie tulips, to name a few. This symbolic tribute to a person who loved art so much and he wanted to share it with our city is a small gesture just to help that art live on. A city without art is like a body without a soul. If you ever go to Old Man Rivers and you just look across into the grassy area, that will be known as Bob Gregg Grove. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Comment.
Mr. Ryland?
I think this is a very worthy endeavor, but I would also like to say that just because we're doing it for one, doesn't diminish the work, the dedication, the care, the love, the art that others have put forward into the city. We recognize veterans every single month. You know, as we recognize veterans, we're not diminishing the service from the other veterans. There are many people in the city who have contributed vastly to the beautification of the city. And, you know, Bob was a part of it. I think there are other people who, you know, could be posthumously, I should say, recognized, rewarded, who worked hand in hand with Bob. And I think maybe we should look into that as well, as there are other founding members of the Arts Commission that do deserve the same type of honor. Well, I think this is very well and very well deserved. I just wanted to put that out there that, you know, this, just because we're doing it for one person doesn't diminish the service of others. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ryland. I have a comment, Mr. Clerk. I intend to vote no on this resolution simply because when the clerk sent out the agenda to the council, it did not include this resolution. I understand this resolution was not sent until Saturday. The entire council never saw this resolution. I never received a copy of it until 4:52 this evening, so I intend to vote no. Thank you. Any other comments?
Further comment?
Mr. Fisher?
Not last council meeting before that, I brought up the point that we send out the, I guess, informal agenda to the Buffalo News and the media on Friday. But it doesn't close until Monday at 4:59 PM. So I always said there's an opportunity to quote, slip something in on Monday. And I was told that we have the opportunity on Monday. It's kind of an informal thing we send out on Friday. And I disagreed with it. I still disagree with it. And I said, because you're sending it out to all the media, the news, the news stations, and we're sending it out on Friday. And if I was a reporter and I'm looking through the agenda on Friday going, oh, I wanted to cover this story, it's not on the agenda, I don't have to worry about it on Tuesday. And then it gets added on Monday and then voted on Tuesday, and they go, whoa, I missed it. That's the way we have set these rules up. That's the way this system has been designed. I disagree with it wholeheartedly, but that's the way the system is, and we need to change it. So.
Any other comments? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Teasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Ronstadt,
Aye.
Mylum.
Aye.
Cook.
Nay. Resolution is adopted. At this time, we'll now take comments by the public following the resolutions. For those that are joining us in person, please approach the microphone. For those that are joining us virtually, there's a spot for you to raise your hand. Please do so and the clerk will call upon you.
There's something to us, it's Roberts Avenue, Tonawanda. Has there any been discussion about the bike nights that we've been proposing?
I was under the impression that you were going to meet with us at 6:15 today.
We've been here since 6 o'clock and no one told us to meet with you guys.
Okay, yeah, it was on our agenda. I was under the impression it was communicated to you, but regardless,
We're supposed to do it at 6.
we are,
We were there for a long time.
we are meeting in the back
Yep, let's do it.
after we adjourn, so just stick around. Any other comments? Mr. Clerk, any resident wishing to join us, or any resident who's joining us virtually wish to address the council?
Yes, ma'am. I have somebody who's having an issue with their microphone. But they're asking if I could read their comment. How would you like to proceed, Madam President?
Can proceed.
Okay.
Just need their name and address for the record.
Yes, ma'am. This is Lindsay Jelski, 203 Rogers Avenue. She writes, I have a question about executive sessions. It is my understanding that open meetings law states that executive session for a common council meeting can only be held during a formal open meeting and not during an informal session, work session, or after the meeting officially ended. Many times the council's guests, honored guests, and others are forced to wait through executive sessions that vary in times that can be well over an hour long. Best practice also states that public comment usually occurs before an executive session. On our agendas, we have the executive session motion happening prior to the public comment. Are we doing this wrong? Can someone please clarify this for me? I found this information on opengovernment.ny.gov. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comment. I'll defer to the city attorney to respond in writing. Any other comments by the public? Mr. Sheasley.
I'll say mine for the informal minutes. Couple of things, because I keep getting calls from the mayor in regards to a railing from parking lot to the front door, and I thought we're under the assumption that I come to find out, no. I got a call from an 84-year-old young lady, she's very sharp. She's why? I said, well, they said no. That's all of my explanation, because that's all I got. That's all I got. And that, I mean, from there, also the curb cut. I got 3 phone calls since last week, the curb cut on Main Street. I don't know what else to say. They said no to that also. And I can understand, because the DRI eventually, the city's scape is going to be changed. But it's still a number of years to that point, because we don't know when that's going to happen. Because we haven't heard back from the state yet, have we, Mayor?
I can answer it back there for you.
Okay.
Go back and forth, it's not.
Yeah, I know, and yeah, I'm just saying those, so just to keep that in mind. There was a letter from, well, I guess we can address it out because it's about the bikes. Address it in the back, and there's no sense. I got nothing else.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sheasley. Mr. Fisher.
For the Chris Fisher Gives Back this week, it went to the Boys and Girls Clubs of the North Towns. I thank them for reaching out and asking for the donation and giving me a tour of the building. To address Fourth Ward, Mr. Mylum, I agree with you. I don't want to diminish anybody from anybody who does public art, but I don't want to diminish anybody from anything. Sports figures in this city, people have set records. So if you have any suggestions, or if anybody wants to bring something forward to the council and say, I want to name a tree, I want to name a bench, I want to name a playground, a park, bring it to us. If there's no cost associated, I will be the first person advocating for it. If there is a cost associated with it, if you find a way to mitigate that cost, whether your family wants to, pay that cost or whatever that discussion is to be had, I'm all for it. And that's our duty and our legacy as this council for 24 and 25, 2024 and 2025 is to do this. There's nothing wrong with it. It's actually, it's done a lot in the Senate and the Assembly, different proclamations and other things. New York State's got a lot more space to name things after people, but it's a good one. And that's it. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Mr. Rounstraw.
Thank you, Madam President. I don't want to add much more to that, but I think it was a great tribute to an artist that's contributed a lot to our society. Bob Gregg has been here, and I do know that there is others as well. I don't want to finish anybody else that's done some great stuff. I wanted to say more, but I think Chris Fisher worded it very nicely. It's a nice tribute to Bob Gregg. That being said, I think that you're absolutely correct. As we should be recognizing more people as we do with veterans, with businesses, with people that have done great things in our community. And it's great to keep going. So thank you for keeping that going. I do want to comment on resolutions 15 and 16. Just continued great events by the Seatown Neighbors United, Pursuit Neighbors United, the Nerf event, and the events in Veterans Park picnic, pop-up playground. It's always great to see this continue. They do a great service to our community, doing things for our kids. I think there's a lack of things to do for some of our kids here, and I appreciate them as volunteers continuing to keep these things up, and look forward to seeing more work by them over the summer. Did have a question about the BRI, but I think that's something to come up when we go back and reconvene. I do want to comment too also on the bonds. Again, this is something I've continued to harp on for the past couple of years. We talked about the amount of money that we're spending, speaking with our treasurer and looking at the fact that this year's budget we're paying on a principal of $1.7 million on principal of money that we bonded, $716,000 in interest over the year. Oh, $716,000 over the year. Sorry. It's just a lot of money that we're paying in bonds. We're carrying $18 million in debt. We're looking at adding another $7.3 million in debt this year on a $30 million budget. I know a lot of the stuff is mandated by the state, a lot of the stuff, things that we have to do to upkeep our infrastructure for the city. But I go back again to using the money from the reserves to offset increasing taxes. It's a lot of things like this, fixing sidewalks, fixing some of these things that might be one-shot deals. But in the long run, you're saving the interest and the bond payments, and the debt service, and in the long run, still saving tax money for our residents. It's just something we should be considering more of. That's why we had a reserve fund policy in place, and well, we should be pushing some of those funds. Beyond that, I just want to thank you again for continuing recognizing our veterans. I want to say thank you to you for doing this. Thank you also for Mr. Byrne and his family, for your service to our country. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Armstrong. Mr. Mylum.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll be very quick. I had emailed the mayor about discussing the deer situation. I did have somebody send a picture of 19 deer in his backyard. It's become a health issue, so we can talk about that in the back. But thank you for replying. I did finally get back the contract from the city of, or the town of Tonawanda for their maintenance of the landfill. They gave me the runaround and actually giving me that information. But I finally got it back, actually yesterday morning, so we'll be going through that with the appropriate folks. Also like to thank Mr. Byrne for his service. I never knew him, but I did have the pleasure of learning how to teach math from his wife. And she was a great person as well. So thank you to Mr. Byrne. So.
Thank you, Mr. Mylan. Mayor?
Thank you, Madam President. To Dennis Burnt, thank you for coming. I know he's gone already, but Denny had some reservations. I just want to say thank you to him and his family that came in tonight. We really appreciate it. A couple of things is we talked about the bond resolutions. I apologize. It seems like we went through it really quick and we just went yay, yay, nay, nay, yay all the way through them. But those were well thought out in the budget, and it's a process that we take very seriously. And it's money that we need to spend. We fix a roof, we fix this, we don't fix it, the liability is worse down the road. We buy a truck, we don't buy a truck. We have a $1.1 million pumper. We took it and put it on our, paid for it in cash out of our general fund. Yeah, that's what that stuff's for, but you don't want to create situations either. If we know something's bad, such as these pumps that we're having, our pumping system, our sewage systems, those things we need to keep bonding. Our sidewalks, we need to keep bonding. So yeah, it's going to go back a little bit, but I think we're making smart, intelligent purchasing as we're doing it and bonding it properly. So we're going to continue that effort and do it in a smart manner. So that's going to continue. Couple things is number one, 9 o'clock on Saturday is the canal cleanup this Saturday. Meet over at the pavilion or the hub over there, and there'll be pizza. I'm the first person to throw $20 in for some pizza for the donation. We'll do it in the back room. All the other council people can weigh in, and hopefully we'll have enough to buy all the kids some lunch for helping us out. Next is Friday is the look at my the Canal Day. It's at Veterans Park. Love My Park Day. That's Friday at 6 o'clock. And then April 26th is the paint recycling up at the Tonawanda High School parking lot. We did the e-recycling. 500 cars came. It was fantastic. It was well attended, even by the raindrops. A lot of rain, and we got very wet. But the people were very happy that we did that for the e-disposal. There's not a lot of e-disposal. I asked one gentleman, "Where are you from?" He says, "I'm coming in from Depew." So they came all the way from Depew just to drop off their computers, which I thought was really good. So that means it's a good event if people are coming from other cities that far to satisfy their needs. We talked about the large chairs. We did put one down at the far end past Pelosi Pavilion. We put another large chair back that was broke. And you wonder, how many people think about that? Well, we pulled it away because it was broke. And somebody called me within the next 2 days and asked me, where was the chair? What happened to the chair? So they do keep their eye on it. So we fixed it, repaired it, and sent it back. In fact, we built another one because I got some costs, and they say about $1,200 to build one. And then to paint it and to put our logo on it. And our guys in the late fall or late let's say winter, before spring just gets here, they're not mowing. It's too dormant. The grass is still dormant. So we had them build one. It cost us $200 to build one. So I had them build 2 of them. So we built 2 more because it was a good thing to do. We had the wood already to do it. And the one's gonna be down in the canal, East Niagara, and one's gonna be by the Old Man River. The other one's down at the other end of the pavilion. So below the pavilion. I think that's money well spent for those, because people do utilize them. It's very nice. The other thing I want to say about the, I think Bob Gregg, I really am sorry he passed away. I know his wife worked with her for the last 4 years and enjoyed working with Sue and the job they do. And I didn't know him well as a painter, and I'm all for naming things. But again, I'm just saying we need to be careful. Do you know how many good people live in the city of Tonawanda? You know how many people I think deserve something? If we, somebody who was an old teacher in this school told me a long time ago, if we name everything that we want to name after somebody, there will be nothing left to be named after anybody. So I'm just saying, be careful, because there's a lot of good people and a lot of people that do deserve it in the city of Tonawanda. So when we started this, when it started with a different one in the past, and then went to now to Linda Folds, which I agreed 100%, and Mr. Gregg I agree with. But I put together a resolution to shoot to Mike Rowicki, reviewed, legally wrote it up for me, and I'm gonna present it to the council this coming week. And it's a naming rights, a way to do it. We have none. There's nothing in our, nothing about anything, naming rights whatsoever. Naming streets, naming parks, naming nothing. So it was written up, and I thought it was written up pretty well, and then Mike beat it up. And so he legally added his little fingerprint to it, which is fantastic. I mean, Brittany, I appreciate it. But I'm gonna hand that out to the council also this week. And I think it's important that we follow some type of structural way of moving forward. Because it can get out of hand. Because I'm not gonna beat my chest because I named something, and I don't want you to do the same thing. I wanna do it for a reason. I think they're all right now for a reason, a good reason. They all are. But I wanna be careful moving forward. I really wanna be, you wanna, you know what, and I'm never gonna name that person who said that, but I think about it every day, and the person's still around. But I think when this person's gone, are we gonna name something after him? And you just be careful about that, because I think there's too many good people in the city, and we are running out of things to run out. We will run out very quick if we keep doing it, so. I think this one for Bob Gregg, it's just area, I love it, I think it's fantastic. He did a great contribution to the art in this community, and I think we don't have enough art in this community, so thank you for that. That was my 2 cents on that one. And then last week is Thursday. I actually got a call from the contractor and said, hey, Mayor, come on down to Kohler Pool. We got a surprise for you. So I drove down there last Thursday, and they broke the fence down, and they were actually building the splash pad. So I wanted to make that as a surprise, but Chris beat me to it this morning, this afternoon, when he came out and said, they started the splash pad. They actually did last week. So they took the fence down, and they got tractors there, and they're digging it out. I think it's fantastic. It's kudos to Sean, myself, to Bargnesi, to the council, to your council president, and to just the pressure we put on everybody. Like, come on, help us out. What can we do here in the city to help the citizens and make it a better place to live and play? Okay, but make it safe. And you don't need guards. It's gonna be a beautiful little splash pad there. We're trying to get it done as fast as we can, so when Kohler Pool opens, there's not that cross of mud and dust and everything. We're gonna be cleaning the filter all the time because of we're hoping that part will be done by then. So again, that's a great start of saying spring is here, is by saying the Kohler Pool splash pad is being done. So we thank everybody involved with that. So it's good news. So that's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you, Mayor. I also would like to thank Mr. Burnt for his service, sacrifices, and all his contributions to our city and our country. Certainly well-deserved recognition. I agree. I'd like to recognize everyone who contributed in some way, shape, or form to the arts community. I agree. I think it's been lacking. And we have some great organizations who are contributing and doing so much for our community. I'd also like to recognize Glenna Sternan, who was a pioneer and instrumental in our community in arts, and she unfortunately passed away in October. Her legacy lives on at Macaulay Home Care, where once a month they do art classes with all of the residents there. Also, at our last common council meeting, we had discussed a resolution that we would vote on tonight regarding when the council was going to meet in July due to the Canal Fest. Unfortunately, that resolution did not make it to the agenda this evening. So Mr. Clerk, please ensure that that is on our docket for May 6th. With that said, the Common Council will be meeting in the back. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Stick around if you'd like. Thank you.
We'd like to be on the other side of the.
It is back on now.
I'm gonna ask you, sure you want to flip so you don't look at the back of your head?
I'll buy it.
Well, you can sell it.
I'll buy Mr. Pearson, would you like to come up?
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for coming this evening. I apologize for the delay. I know we wanted to talk about, the special event application that you had submitted. So I'll let you explain the intent and what the request is.
Well, the intent is to obviously bring people to the downtown area. And for these businesses, especially the Legion, the businesses that are open later. There's no traffic, there's no nothing on a lot of the days. Plus, Mr. Will, owning Buffalo Choppers and the Gun Locker, he sponsors a lot of motorcycle events, but they're all in the south towns. And being a city guy and living here in a city business, he wants to bring something, support something in the city. And as far as other days, I know there was other days brought up and whatever. Us as the lot, we only open certain days, and you can't do it on Wednesday because of the Canal Concert, you can't do it on Friday because they're interrupted with big dinner businesses and stuff like that. And even Thursdays are tough, I know with the food truck, but Thursdays are tough because Bratwood Park on Thursday with NT you're competing with. So there's minimal days to do things in the summer. And we're just trying to find a way to bring people down, to show people, you know, a lot of people that ride could be veterans, didn't know there was a VFW. A lot of people could be older, didn't know there was a Vietnam veterans place. Obviously Shannon Barlow with the tattoo shop, motorcycle people with tattoos. You know, there's a lot of stuff that correlates with us. And being that it's like like would be a car show, like car show used to be weekly on Monday on Webster Street. Now, obviously it got too big and now it's at Worthington. You know, that's what these bike events are. They're cruise nights for motorcycles because they don't have them for cars. And I just think it's good for every business, just to see what's down on the city, see what's going on in downtown. And the traffic and the volume of downtown is 0 to none, you know. And a lot of the businesses start, especially in the summer, because there's so much to do in other parts right across from us. You know, on Wednesdays, we're 2,000 feet away. No one wants to pass Adams Street if they park at the old McDonald's, you know what I mean? So it's tough. And we're just trying to find a way to generate business for us and for everyone downtown Main Street. It's all.
Is there, because I know, what day is the food truck? That's
That's
Thursdays.
So like, I'm thinking maybe like, I look at, like, if I were to own a business, I look at my most dead night of the week that I want to.
Well, I would say Thursday for us because while the food trucks are great, they're in the back lot of 3 restaurants.
Sure.
And everyone's going to the food trucks. Now, obviously, you bring people down like this event would, it may also help that as well. More people for more business is better for everything. You know, and like I said, and the days are hard to pick and choose because you're competing with other events and you're competing with this, you know. I just think it's good, you know, it's good for everybody.
I agree with that. When you first sent it out, and I got to me, I actually signed it because I liked it, except for it, and then like 17 weeks.
Right.
So I went back to the both chiefs who said, I have a problem with that. Here's my concerns.
Mhm.
The event application is sent out to all the departments for a reason.
Right.
So they can say, hey, these are concerns we have. Why would you go forward with, if we had a concern? I didn't listen to them. I gave them to you.
Right.
Which I said,
And I can address some of them.
yeah,
obviously.
I'm sure they're gonna want to have us too.
You know, for that event, we'll have our own security out. We'll, you know, let people parking the motorcycles and stuff. So
I don't think we can do that. Would the union have an issue?
Well, they can get their own security. The problem is when there is a problem, we're gonna have to respond. Regardless. So security's not gonna be able to handle, you know, the situations. We're gonna end up getting respond. We're gonna have to respond regardless.
can I make a comment to that?
Sure.
What if one of those establishments, the VFW, Mooney's, has a band and there's a lot of people there and something happens inside the building, if we gotta call 911 regardless, you have to respond to that, but I mean, does every time a
Right, but
business have a
Go ahead.
certain amount of people, do we gotta alert the city that, oh, hey, we could be busier this day
Okay,
than
so-
other days?
Okay, so you're contained within an establishment with that type of situation, and there's bouncers, we still get called there regardless.
Right.
But now what we're doing is we have an event that we're inviting all kinds of clientele into this event. We gotta post, we gotta
Right.
shut the street down, close the street down. We have to try to get a hold of owners of vehicles. We're gonna have to tow vehicles more than likely. And then we're gonna have to deal with upset individuals. We have no idea how big this event could be or how small it could be.
Right.
So now I have to be prepared in this situation, and I'm gonna have to, at least post 2 guys down there. Thing is this is gonna go on for June, July, and August, busiest months of the year for us. I'm gonna be down 5 guys in June. And I have to try to build this overtime for this to try to put 2 guys down there. The thing is that in police work, you don't dive head first into a situation. You wade into it. You take it a chunk at a time. You figure it out, and then you know what you need. In this situation, we have no idea. We go 17 weeks in a row. It's gonna be too much of a lift for us, especially now with 5 guys. If we do once a month, I'm not saying I'm against it, but if we do it reasonably, do it once a month, see how it turns out and how it works out, I think that would be very reasonable. I put 2 guys down there. For 5 events. That's $3,200 to $6,400 during that time period. If we have 17 events down there, that's gonna be anywhere from 11,000 plus to 22,000, depending on how many guys I need down there, whether it's 2 or it's 4.
Sir, there's no public comment, it would just be from Mr. Thurston.
Can I,
Can I interject something? I worked the car show at Woodson every Monday last year. We freaking got around, I'm not knocking you, chief, you know that.
Couldn't hear you.
There, I work every Monday at the car show in Willitzer. Every Monday I come there. There's not a cop around. I'm not knocking, but there's not a cop around, and there's probably 300 cars. And that's every Monday, and I've never seen a problem, except me bitching about, the chief knows about a guy blowing his siren from an old tunnel on the fire truck. You know?
Do you serve alcohol down there you serve alcohol down there too? At the car show?
Well, they've got the bars right there. They got, what is it?
Beer company,
Eddie Beer Company.
brewing.
And the people walk around with it,
But if there is a problem, you're gonna call the police.
Well,
So that means
I'm
that-
wondering, Bob.
But what I'm saying is that we're gonna
Oh,
end
yeah.
up depleting
I
our
agree.
road patrol if we use just road patrol to put everybody down there.
Right.
Okay, Eric, I was trying to pull up the special event.
I might
application that was
fill it out now.
emailed to us, but when were you proposing that the event begins?
5 o'clock.
What date? Sorry.
I put the last Thursday in May, just in case it's nice, but ultimately June through August into September, but
So 5/29 in theory through, so what's next, September 25th?
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Plonsky,
And it was 5 PM till when?
till 10, did you have the same concerns about the weekly event at Old Man River when he closed the street? You have to put someone at that event?
What we've been at all there.
Every Wednesday when they shut down Franklin Street for the slow folks and they have the.
No, but that's been going on for years. This isn't.
But
new.
I mean,
But this isn't new.
when it was
this
proposed,
is
were the
new.
same, when it was proposed,
I don't even remember when.
were
it
the
was-
same concerns for that.
I don't even remember when it was proposed, and I wasn't a chief back then either.
Okay. I'm just.
I gotta look at
Trying to
this,
figure
I
out.
gotta look at this, from the city's perspective.
Right.
What's best for the city.
Right.
And I gotta look at my manpower
Mhm.
and what I need to do just in case. Next year, maybe like this event, once we kind of feel it out here, maybe it's something, that you can do 17,
Mhm.
weeks in a row. But as for right now, especially, the amount of personnel I have and just taking everything into consideration. I'm not that I'm not for it.
Mhm.
It's just, let's wade into this instead of diving into it. That's all I'm looking.
In other events, as such, I'm trying to organize and Mr. Will behind me. There has never been a need there's been 200 events at Prohibition, on Tuesdays for bike nights. There's never been a need for a police officer. You can go to the warehouse, you can go to multiple places. There's never been a need, for that. You know,
Could there be?
but there
Could there be?
There could be a need at
And that's what I
at
gotta look
anything you
at.
do though.
Right, and that's what I have to look at.
No colors, right?
No. No, it's, the guys that ride are me and you. They wanna go just like a car show and look at motorcycles and.
Could there be the potential for colors?
If you put a sign that says no colors, they don't come. I mean, there could be, but they're not.
You can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry,
That's it.
There's no comment by the public.
Yeah, but my point is could colors show up? These are things I gotta look at.
But they could,
You can't say they couldn't.
right,
Right.
but, I mean, I'll be honest.
That doesn't mean I'm saying, no, we can't do this.
Right.
What I'm saying is, let's go slow into this instead of just banging out 17 weeks, which is gonna be a huge task for
So
my
the-
department.
The problem with once a month, like was first proposed. So we do it and then it rains. So now you're a month and a half behind. You can't build something. Doing it monthly, people get other things to do. Maybe the first one wasn't that good, so we're gonna skip it next month, or it rains or this. That's why every event, Old Man River, the concerts on Wednesday, the concerts at Gratwick, the car shows on Monday, because you have rain days, because you have things going, have to be weekly to build. You can't build something once a month. It doesn't work.
Then why don't you have a rain?
Well,
Because I guess that's something that we'll discuss.
I have a question for you, sir.
okay.
So you block the street, right?
And just make it for motorcycle parking.
Motorcycle parking.
Yes,
So I'm assuming colors means gangs?
yes.
Well, you naive to this,
Yeah, I
okay?
did not know.
So you are going to have someone there allowing the motorcycles to come in to park in front of the Elks Lodge as part of this motorcycle show, like a car show, but a motorcycle show. So if colors or gangs show up, what do? Just turn them away?
You could, yeah, you
What do you
put
think?
signs up and say, and no colors well, just like if you went to a bar, you know, there's no signs, no colors allowed. You know,
I don't know that.
yeah,
I've
no,
not.
yeah, and they follow those guidelines.
Our city attorney is not
That's-
in
that's-
for
what
a
if
sign
they
that you've
cut-
seen in a bar that's. Okay.
So then what if they say this is baloney and they start creating an issue with it? What are you gonna do? You're gonna call the police.
They-
We're gonna take road patrols off the road.
But what I'm saying is, I could call the police at any moment, at any situation.
But my point is, I'm still gonna post a couple guys down there, so we see what this is about. Cause they gotta, you don't run to the fire after it started, you get prepared for it. No, but that's what I'm saying.
No, they understand, they just didn't know if you had it.
Patrols do swing by.
I've seen them.
Once in a while, I went out every Thursday and it wasn't.
But here you're gonna have bikers with the potential colors, you're gonna have, you have the alcohol. in it. It's not something that you play catch up on, you gotta be prepared for. And again, I'm not against it, I'm saying just, let's go slow into this and not, hammer out 17 weeks. And again, I'm gonna keep repeating. June, I'm gonna be down 5 guys off the road. So it's like, this is a lift for me.
I don't have the copy of the permit, maybe you know off the top of your head, for Green Beer Sunday, how many cops do you post for that?
For Green Beer
Green Beer
Sunday, that's just,
So Green Beer
that's
was
a
responsible
smaller
for
amount.
2 people inside for the SO like anyway.
We have 2 cops inside at
2
Green Beer Sunday?
inside, which they hire them themselves, 2 people.
But how many police officers? Because last year, this year was freezing cold. This year was 10 degrees.
Yeah,
Last year, there had to be at least 1,000 people there, and it was a full alcohol event.
Right.
And we didn't have any police posted there.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. You don't have them for Old Man River on a weekly event. You don't have them for Green Bear Sunday, which has way more people on a one-day event than we would have on a Thursday with 100 people. So why are we picking and choosing what event you want to do that at and what event you don't want to do it at?
Because again, this is the first time that we've ever done this.
What do you anticipate? Like in your other ones around, what's?
The ones around in the south towns and that, they get 100, 150 people. But they come, they grab a bite to eat, they have it, and they go, like I said, on Thursdays.
It's just like a car show.
Right, just exactly. So on Thursdays, starting in July, Gratwick Park has their weekly concert series. So at 5 o'clock, we may get 100 guys there, walk around, have a beer, have a bite to eat. And by 7 o'clock, they're gonna go to Gratwick because the music starts at 7:30. So we're already up against a battle as it is. Every day in the city, in these two cities, is a battle for someone to try to get business.
Eric, you're not providing any food or music, right? Just the
Right,
brick and mortar are the ones, right?
right, yeah.
Okay, but
You know, but I went and talked to Mooney's, I went and talked to Legion, Ian Wellesby, I talked to Mulberry, I talked to San Moscato. A lot of the businesses there are closed by 4 o'clock. And the only businesses that matter would be, Ian, us, Mooney's, and the Legion. And we're all trying to find a way to get people to our establishments.
The Mondays didn't work.
Well, we're not open on Mondays. Plus Mondays, again, motorcycle guys are car guys. So now you got the car show at Wurlitzer. There's an event every day of the week that you gotta try to plan around it. There isn't a motorcycle event on a Thursday. They're on Tuesdays in the South Towns, they're on this, you got the car shows on Monday, you got stuff on Friday in different areas. So we're trying to bring, and like I said, Thursdays are an uphill battle anyway because of Gratwick, you know, how many people go to Gratwick. So it's harder and harder every day to try to pick and try to get people to come to support these downtown businesses.
Why does it have to be 17 weeks?
Well, like I said,
Why can't it be 2 months? Or 6 weeks?
well, the people like to ride when it's not, you get 2.5 months to do stuff in the summer. You know, people can't use their motorcycles right now, you can't use them for 7 months. You know, so you try to set it up in the days that are nice so people can use their stuff. And like I said, if you get rain days, you get stuff like that, you know, maybe twice a month. You know, to maybe start entertaining it and see how it goes. But it's also a lot of work on our end to set up, to get the security staff, to get the people to work it, to get the people, you know, you're gonna have some people, you know, come set up a little tent. Again, it's good for all businesses. For everybody in the grand scheme of things.
Chief McNulty, did you have concerns with the special event permit?
I did write a letter to the mayor in regards to that. I handed
Yeah.
And some of the concerns that we have, safety concerns, and every special event that comes across our desk, we're looking at safety concerns. So what concerns the fire department and our response would be restricted egress to get the apparatus in, to get EMS in there, to make sure the people can get out of the buildings. So the city's adopted codes, which fire department's responsible to enforce through fire safety inspections. So the public out on the street have that same expectation with that level of safety. So I concern myself with making sure that I can maintain that, getting to the fire department connections, the hydrants, not blocking some of the apartment doors where people may have to get out. But with that, I find that we could do that with the staffing that we have on duty. My concern comes in regards to doing this over and over. It suggests like a level of vulnerability, people walking around the street thinking that we got the water barricades up and they're safe. Somebody with an intent to harm could penetrate those barriers, so I went back to the drawing board after this was brought up on the frequency. We have to leave room to get between the water barriers if you do plan on closing the street down. To get to the buildings that we have to protect. So with that, like Canal Fest, we do the same thing. But when you do it every single week, people might notice that there's a weak link there. So to keep that opening, if I could request the fire police to help out by placing their vehicle there, something quickly movable. So if we did have to get apparatus in there, that would be beneficial for the safety of people just walking around thinking that they're safe walking on the street. The other concerns too is with codes, we often ask the business or the public assembly people to help us with emergency plans. So if I could work with anybody that's applying with a special event to coordinate some of these efforts, then we don't have to necessarily go down there and police it every single event, such as keeping the fire lanes open, making sure if they're gonna do any tents out there, they're not blocking the doors or people's egress in that area. So those were the concerns that I had. It's not necessarily how many times we have to go down there. I mean, we serve the public. If that's what the public wants to do, we're gonna go down there. It's not at this point gonna exceed what we have on duty. If it starts to get to that point where first aid calls are more frequent and it's taking us away from serving the rest of the community, we would have to add some people to help protect that. So the way it was proposed, there wasn't a lot of language in regards to backing out of it. So if it turns into a big show that we have no control over and we sign off on it saying we're good for summer, what if it turns into a problem where we have to start adding people? And it's gonna cost the taxpayers money to do that. That's where my concern is. If we just could have some language in regards to addressing any issues that develop along the way.
I mean, we could talk, I mean, we could leave all that open if it does get to a point like that. And obviously, when we do set up the barriers and that we'll definitely leave a lane for you guys to get through. We'll work with whatever aspects of whatever anybody wants. Like, that's why I'm saying we're having our own security, we're having our own, you know, stuff like that, you know. Like you brought up a point, you know, Green Beer doesn't have it, that you don't put anybody at Old Man River, and they do a weekly event, and this and that, and the other thing, it's like, you know. You have faith in people, right? Everybody's good people, you know, and obviously every now and then you get a bad person, but that could be anywhere at any time, in any place. You know, so, you know, to say that you're having an event and I automatically, because it's new, I automatically have to put people there just to see what's going on when you've never done it before for anything else, just doesn't make sense to me.
Actually, it totally makes sense to me because I don't have a crystal ball and I have no idea what's gonna happen. And so what I'm saying is test the waters, don't just dive into this head
Well,
first.
that's why I
And
said
I'm not
twice.
talking to you, I'm talking to council, I'm sorry. But don't dive into this head first. If it turns out that it's a smaller event, you know, yeah, then maybe that's something that, I don't have to post guys down there, but you know, it's gonna be overtime. I don't know what to expect. None of us know what to expect.
But once you have the first one or two behind your belt, you have to be.
It's a very possible, very good possibility.
And that's what I'm saying. I mean, it sounds like you're saying if there's a possibility that you'd be willing to try it out with maybe twice a month.
Twice a month, twice a month's better than once a
That's
month.
what I-
Once a month's super hard.
That was the original, I said,
Right.
let's,
Right.
hey, let's work
Right.
together and help. And no, go 17.
Wow.
But I understand.
Right.
Well, you gotta think it from our standpoint, because we're just, I'm thinking of everybody goes in the city,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Imagine us 20 years ago, we're talking about this, people say, yeah, be kidding me.
Right.
But I would have told you that 20 years ago, 17 people were shot at Tops Market in Buffalo, you would say, you're freaking nuts.
I
That's
understand
the exact
that.
thing that happened. It's the what ifs that we're worried about. I mean, I learned that in this
Right.
position. When you brought that, that's just, you walk together.
100% understand that, you know, but obviously being in both, you know, and working in both the cities, you know, I saw every Wednesday they closed all, or every Monday, MT closed all of Webster Street for the cars. And then, like Pat said, you know, it gets to a point, or Bob says, it gets to a point where it's too big and it had to move, right? And that's what happened. They did it on Webster Street and it got too big. There was too many cars, there was too many people, because there's so many enthusiasts that want to go look at stuff and do stuff. And that's what those events are for. They're not for what the colors are and stuff like that. They're for enthusiasts. Right, and it's bringing people into the city to spend money.
I have another question for him. So you're here representing the Elks Lodge as part of this permit process?
Correct.
You brought Mr. Will with you from the Buffalo chapter?
Yes, because he's the one who brought it to my attention, because he's a local business, he's a motorcycle business on Pratt Parkway in Fillmore. And he sponsors a ton of motorcycle events, but there isn't one in the city that he has a business in the city that he represents.
Well, I've been to his shop because him and his son and his father all got the Veteran of the Month when I was in your shop. That's your shop I was in? At this time, I'd like to ask permission of the council to ask Mr. Willis to step forward and hear from him. He's the one hosting the event with the Elks Lodge. All right, please. So you can talk now. So now we basically introduced you into permission to talk. Please tell us. I see you have something to say about bikes. Please tell us, inform us.
We've been sponsoring the Prohibition, out at Rich Stadium. And we get approximately 150 to 200 motorcycles. Not one time was ever anybody trouble, no fights, no accidents, no police had to be called for anything. The people that we have, the people, very fortunate, but it's very fortunate that somebody doesn't walk into the school tomorrow and shoot somebody too.
Which could happen at the motorcycle club, or motorcycle event,
It could.
right?
It could happen right now because nobody's at the door.
Right.
So, you know.
So I got,
we're gonna hide behind you.
so as the police chief, I gotta look ahead and say, there is possibilities.
There's possibilities. no
Because the
matter-
world's not getting any better.
There's
And
possibilities.
there's things happening all the time.
Correct.
It's hard to reach environments.
The possibility is there no matter what, but we never had an issue, and we don't have that kind of clientele either. We've got over 1,300 people in our database. Very large portion of those customers of mine are from the north towns here where we have none. If you look, all the bike stuff happens East Aurora, Orchard Park. You know.
Tom, I'm not against the event.
Ellicottville, but they go every week because our customers. They get in a rhythm. And they go to the first one and they like it, they want it again. And then they want it more, and then they talk to people and they say, look, this was a lot of fun, this was a good thing to do. You gotta come next week, you gotta, grab Mike and Bill and make sure that they follow you, don't go out there, come out to this one was good. I don't allow colors in my shop. I have stood up when I'm the only man in the shop to 4 or 5 from the Outlaws, Pagans, and I go put your colors inside out on your bike for me. And I'm the only person standing there. They think about it. I've seen them sit there and think about it, and they turn around and they leave. Or they go out, if they want to conduct business. I'm not gonna tell somebody, no, you can't, but respect me too. And so we tell them, no colors. Come in with colors, we're asked to leave.
Just got one point. Usually these bikers, just like the cars I see on Monday nights, they're pristine bikes.
Yes.
These aren't shitting choppers.
No.
That the regular.
That's what I'm saying, it's
Oliver.
it's a cruise night for motorcycles,
Yeah.
is all it is.
I've never been to one of those, but.
Our clientele are, blue knights, red knights, they're retired police and fire. They're auto workers, they're lawyers, I can't count how many doctors
Combat
and
veteran
lawyers
riders,
I
it's
have.
gonna be, it's everyday people.
Yeah,
Which again, I'm not saying I'm against this event. I'm saying this is a heavy lift for my department for how many guys I have. And the thing is too, is if something happens, are they gonna go, what was Eric Thurston and Tom Will doing? No, they're gonna say, what were the police doing? What did they do to protect these people? And that's what I'm telling, that's why I'm up here talking right now. I'm asking you to, this is a huge burden, 17 weeks on me. Okay, on my department. We got Canal Fest, which is gonna be tough to take care of that this summer, even though we cut it down to the 6 days. So I'm just saying, there's other events we gotta take care of. There's vacations, there's gonna be other overtime. This is 17 weeks is a heavy lift.
If I can, I think what I'm understanding here is where you guys are both on, but I mean, you want a little more frequency than just once a month. I understand from your side, it's a heavy lifting and burden. So I mean, I think we're kind of coming to a negotiation here. If the work or the application.
The application back together.
It would have to be amended.
It would have to be amended, I would say to possibly twice a month with possibility of a rain posted as well. But I also think, there should be some sort of stipulation that if there is a major event or if there is a major problem, there's an immediate stop, put to it for the rest of the summer. I mean, I think that's, I think that's a fair thing, I think it sets your mind at ease, and then it gives you the opportunity to see this grow a little bit, because I mean, I do agree with them, one shot a month isn't gonna give you a good gauge on where this is going. But if you have a couple of them a month and you have a following coming, I think that gives you a kind of a gauge of clientele, the kind of people that are coming here. The people that are coming to visit our city, and maybe it's gonna benefit our city, benefit our restaurants, and benefit our folks around it, and even benefit food truck Thursdays.
Exactly. More people to an area is better for everyone.
Right, and I think if you're reasonable to that, I think there's gonna be verbiage you put in there to protect yourself, protect us, and.
So Eric, you had mentioned potentially up to 150 bikers. you wanna modify your application.
Okay.
because you
No.
Put 50.
Oh, did I? Yeah.
You got the original, right?
Uh,
I'll give you a copy.
okay.
I have a question for the city attorneys. If we did a 17-week agreement, do we have a clause in there or something that, like, on week 6, they have an issue and we can cancel it? Or is that a typical thing we can do with a permit?
Normally with the permit, we have the authority to cancel or revoke the permit for any health and safety reasons.
So if Canal Fest kicks off,
Arbitrarily, no.
right, but if Canal Fest kicks off on a Tuesday and they have a massive incident on Wednesday or Thursday, we could cancel Canal Fest for the remainder of Canal Fest.
Well, that's different.
How is that?
We have an agreement with Canal Fest, there's a contract, and the chief has the authority to shut it down at any time.
In the contract, the chief has the authority for health and safety.
That's a
For the
contract.
contract, but for their permit, we would have the ability to stop the permit on week 6 and say, you guys aren't getting week 7 through 17.
We'll keep open meetings with you guys the whole time it's going on, from week to week, or, you know, twice a month, just to, hey, how's it progressing, how's it doing this, is it too much, is it whatever, you know?
Trying to hide anything or.
No.
Yeah, in
Well,
week, in week
No,
3, if
but-
there was a riot. And there's, you know, a massive fight and there's all this injury, yeah, we could revoke the permit for the rest of the summer. Health and safety reasons.
It's really not 17 weeks, it's 16, because you guys can't get July,
Right.
whatever that is, July 17th anyways, because that's already reserved to Canal Fest and their
Right.
footprint, so it's really only 16, we're taking off.
Still,
Take out.
but still that 17th week with police are still.
Yeah, they're still working. You know.
So if you did like the 5th and 19th of June, you go to July of 3rd and or 10th and the 24th, August the same way,
Mhm.
you know what I mean, that like the 7th to the 21st.
And the same in September, right, the 4th and the 18th.
I don't like that, and I know Bob's strapped, I understand that, I totally understand that. But, you know, I mean, I like the idea, the more people we bring into the city, the better off, we've gotta take our fair on brick and mortar. Don't get me wrong, I love Thursday, I'm always there, you know, but I think we gotta help.
I think it could benefit. I mean, like I said, more people know, and they come to the city, they see what's going on. Right, because a lot of people don't come into the city to see what's happening.
It's here.
Now you see that, oh, there's a food truck Thursday, oh, there's this, oh, there's that.
Say that we can't do like a lotto for those food trucks, aren't 2 of them down there?
I'll be at Ellicott Creek.
You know,
I tell you what I'd like to see, this is just me, I'd like to see it every Thursday, and give them 5 weeks, it would be May 29th, and then just 4 weeks in June. And then reevaluate a new permit for the 1st of July, so give them.
I think the problem with that though is you're trying to build something, trying to start something. Also, you're under, well, you're also under the clock. I mean, it's April.
right,
You guys need to put some advertising out there, send emails to your people, reach out.
You're saying, yeah, they would say, it would say
I
the
think
dates.
you want to
you know,
turn
so
around
the
on this
advertisement.
right away. I mean, if you guys are agreeable to that, I mean,
Yeah.
the department chiefs are agreeable to that.
twice a month.
I think it's something you guys.
And we'll set it up however Pat needs a lane and whatever, and we'll work with everybody, we're not here to be against people.
I'm not either,
Right.
and
No,
that's what I
know.
need you
No,
to
no,
understand.
I'm not
I
saying
need
that
to do
you
my
are,
job.
right. I know.
I don't not wanna see this happen.
If it's shitty, we pull the plug.
Yeah.
You know.
I see what
I
you're saying,
think-
is do it all at once, but I think if you get, if you get a pattern, you get a cadence every month, you know, that they're twice a month.
So first of all, to clarify, there is no language in our code or on the special event permit that the permit can be revoked. There's not gonna be involved with that. We should exercise our city now. So what I think we should have is an agreement, the mayor, the council should have a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter an agreement.
Sure.
And then we stipulate all of that, just to protect all entities.
Put the dates in, we're sort of
Yep.
dated. All right,
So what is the proposal
every other, right?
for 7, for,
Twice a month.
from
5/19.
From May 29th through September 25th? 2 times a month?
Well, if you did the 29th, if you did one in May, the 29th, then it'd be the 12th, 26th. And then it would be the 10th, 24th,
Right. And
and then the 7th, 21st, and then the 4th, 18th.
Okay, so you'll have to amend the, or
That- okay.
fill out a new special event.
No, that's fine. Right.
Put the dates in.
And then
Right.
you got those dates, can you just draft up? Okay, alright,
I didn't get all the dates.
It's every other week starting at May 29th. I'll put it in.
he's gonna put it on the special
Yeah,
event.
and you skip Juneteenth, because that's
Right.
a holiday, and then our, like, our BPW is off that day.
Right.
No, they work it. Okay, and then
July 17th. June 17th is, it should be a holiday, it's a federal holiday, it's on the calendar. You guys off, it should be off.
Okay.
Just floating out.
Anything
June
else?
17th is canceled, that's all I have.
Mr. Sheasley?
What did I say earlier? That really mayor is no good from.
I said conversation.
Thank you.
Okay, so you tell me.
You're all set.
Yeah, thank you for coming in.
Oh, no, thank you guys for listening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I thought we had Dave.
Thank you.
She's asking for the help.
Thank you, John. John, thank you.
But I thought we had Dave.
Do you want me to grab you?
Yeah, I gotta be.
Right, was when the sidewalk went out, we used to have parking in front of it.
Right.
Years ago with the mailbox,
Yeah,
that's where a little bit of rain.
yeah.
I'm talking from upper city hall parking lot.
God, I never was, I was told it wouldn't.
That's what Mayor, that's what I stated, was upper
I said, we
parking lot
took
there.
that one out because it was broke. He said, yeah, I need to replace. I said, okay, it's 3 feet. He said, no.
When I said it, upper city
From
hall
that
parking
parking
lot
lot
there.
all the way to there.
Oh my gosh, but okay, wait till you get that old, and then the people try to come up and the lady said, look, I'd like to come in, I don't wanna drop box whatsoever. I wanna talk to people, if I have a problem, I wanna come in. She's 84 years old, she's very with it, but physically, it's tough.
I just don't want to put it in liability issue, there's a liability issue for a couple of people, they, from that car, up the parking lot, all the way down to the front door. I mean, if it's needed, I'm willing to do it, I just don't know.
Sounds like there might be some potential grant possibilities if we're talking about making more like ADA. So maybe a discussion with, maybe that's where that, because it's gonna be.
It's always a benefit. So it's not.
Mike, when you go to your office, go by Honix, not Honix, and
That's what they know, oh, you're talking.
you look at that, and that's what I'm saying, that's, she brought it to mind, look at it, it's very nice, but it's a black, like, brought out, and whatever, and it's anchored so far, whatever.
Great opportunity. So, that's how we.
I know, I'm just saying that she keeps fucking hell of that. But I understand it, she's an older lady.
No, I understand you, I will definitely take a look at one, granted,
You've got problems.
I do, believe it or not.
Yep, the other thing is, of course, the curb cut. I'm again, 20 minutes on the phone with the lady.
Mike, the
about the curb cut.
We talked about the curb cuts. A couple
Today,
times.
I try to explain it.
Like the cost of it, first of all, we got already a curb cut at the crossing lot. And 10 feet, 15 feet away, they went for the crosswalk. And there's nothing on the other side, so we put a crosswalk to nowhere, just to satisfy people getting to the senior center, where you already got one 10, 15 feet away from it, and a bus.
Or like 20 something.
So I don't know.
It's just a crosswalk. It's just a cost to the city.
It's a cost to the city that I think is not needed, but it's every help.
It goes, so on the other side, it would go really nowhere.
Right.
No, it goes right into the pantry, to the pantry, to the.
Oh, no, he moves to the side of the street.
Yeah, the other side of the street goes.
Really,
To the bank.
We go to the bank. No,
I don't think it goes anywhere.
it won't, it won't.
So you. I don't know, yeah, I don't know if suggesting a crosswalk over, it might expose more people, like might expose the city
There's
to
a
more
no-
liability.
There's a no parking area where they're talking about.
Right.
Mhm.
It's striped off already, it's between the tree and the fire hydrant. And there's a drop off center there. I think I mentioned last time that one old lady fell with her walker, hit the curb, the guy from the plumbing next door to mom.
Wait, I thought you said at the last meeting that this was a dead issue or 2 meetings ago.
I thought it was. For the last.
Just saying, they brought it to me again today, 20 minutes on the phone with the lady.
There's somebody.
So I'm just bringing it back.
Is this in front of the senior center? Or
Yeah, in front of the senior center.
The Spice Main wants a curb cut too.
Yeah.
We just curb cut the whole street, we'd be fine.
Why don't we have any curbs off?
Just don't come down, don't come down.
How much more you want?
I'm just throwing it out there. Citizen brings it to me, I don't know it here. That's what I do, and I have nothing else.
There's no requirement.
Okay, Mr. Fisher?
Piggybacking on that, we do have a mid-block crosswalk, so we have, I went through this with 5 Main, we have the ramp at Canal Street, or whatever we're calling it now,
You have the ramp mid-block in front of the American Legion that leads to the south side of Adams Street.
Right.
And then you have the curb cut over at Broad and Main right there. So that section of block actually has 3 curb cuts, which is one more than most blocks. So,
Yeah.
so this was the fight we had with 5 Main. Was one was the cost to put the curb cut in, and then 2, once the DRI shows up and they start renovating those sidewalks. We don't know if it's gonna be in 6 months or 6 years, but we're gonna spend money on a curb cut that's eventually gonna be replaced or dug out, and then we're double paying, so that's why it's a whole. So the plan was, and I remember speaking to the mayor correctly on this, there is a plan, but many curb cuts
Correct.
when they redo the sidewalks for the DRI, and we're gonna map this out.
Yeah, sooner than later, because once the DRI is accepted and that parking lot's part of it, we can do all the curb we want then, because then we can do, because that's on us.
With the
We don't
money.
have to wait for that.
Right, with the money, but we're waiting for the funding to show up before we just go out and start randomly cutting cuts all over Main
Wait
Street.
for them to say,
Okay.
yeah, we, okay.
Okay, off of curb cuts, on the vacant property registries, thank you to Brittany who sent us the document, I guess you call it, that is basically memo, there you go. That says what we suggest, what we should and should not be doing, or could not be doing. And if you look at Syracuse, which was cited in the memo, Syracuse does residential in with their vacant. And the problem with that is they're speculating. So they're saying we don't want speculators to come in, buy entire city blocks of dilapidated houses, leave them dilapidated out of code, speculate on the market and then flip these houses. We don't really have that issue in the city. We're more of the commercial downtown area. But we also have commercial all over the city area. So one of the things I was suggesting that you guys saw in my email was the vacant property registry will be charged progressively over years, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It increases as it becomes more vacant. We'd have to look at stipulations like, does Spirit Halloween count as breaking the vacancy? Because they would technically, like, right, it would never have a full complete year of vacancy. They're just gonna throw Spirit Halloween in for 3 months and go, I beat your registry. Or do we like that because it still generates a lot of sales tax revenue in a 3-month period? So would that technically then qualify? Do we have to say it's 3 months, or if you don't hold a business for at least 31 days, it's considered vacant even if you're open for 2 weeks. This is something we need to look at for language. What it also does, it stimulates growth. We are losing, I had a passing conversation with Kevin Hardwick, our Erie County Comptroller, and he said we are losing sales tax revenue throughout the county. We are a source of that because every time someone comes to our downtown and says, I want to spend money, I want to buy beer, I want to buy a dinner, they go over the bridge and they spend that money in Niagara County, and that goes to the Niagara County sales tax revenue. It doesn't go to the Erie County pot. So we are letting that money walk out the door. And it's because our downtown has nothing. We have no draw. So this vacant property registry at least would then either put money in our coffers for the city, or it will cause them to want to put something in, even if it is a Spirit Halloween 3 months out of the year, just to beat our tax register, or not tax, our property registry to stimulate sales tax income for the county. We gotta do something. It's getting bad down there. Now we have the vacant church at the corner of Broad and Seymour. You then have the Rite Aid, you have the McDonald's, we lost Twin City Deli. Those are rental spots. Right next to Twin City Deli is the old Hello Sweets we moved. That's still vacant. So even though the building is still structurally there, the storefronts are vacant. So you walk through our downtown and you're like, oh, I park here to go to North Tonawanda. You know what I mean? Or I go to North Tonawanda to have dinner. They tell me it's an hour wait. I go on a nice leisurely stroll and then I go back to dinner. There's nothing here to spend your money in. We need to do something.
Well, that's why we could, we're spending money in the downtown and make it a place, make it a destination. But it's not gonna help with the empty building, because first of all, we don't own Benderson. Second of all, we don't own Rite Aid, and we don't own, consumer beverage either. So those are the 3 main target ones that I had no problem with the big boys. Problem is, they can fight us forever, because they got attorneys on, we don't have that.
We have one of the best attorneys in vacant property registries here.
Well, if I may, just on your note there, trying to limit Syracuse, Syracuse is only really uses the registry for those properties that are in violation, that have code violations. So you maybe are thinking that properties here in the city might be applicable, but if there's no code violation against them.
But I thought they were doing the right, if I interpreted this right, they have the registry, so they know to look for the code violation. And then the code violations are in addition to the registry, because the registry is charged by square foot. Just to be on the registry, you pay like a nickel per square
There's
foot,
like a
right?
preamble to the site that begins like for buildings with code violations.
So as long as Like, the old McDonald's never had a code violation, we can never add them to the registry.
Correct.
Right.
But even if they had one code violation, we can add them to the registry forever.
I mean, Syracuse seemingly does, but remember, you can't like employ things that are a mechanism to circumvent activities that lawfully we cannot do.
Okay. So just the existence of your property went vacant, it's been more than a year, you're now on our registry, we can't. Legally just maintain a vacant,
I think you're skating on ice there, right? Like, you know, I think a challenge could be made against us. As I outlined in the memo.
okay, so looking, I don't know, I'll put you on the spot here, especially the recordings and everything. But if we have a vacant commercial property, we use McDonald's as an example. And it just sits there for 10 years, he keeps it up to code and he pays his taxes, but just leaves it vacant in the middle of our downtown for years. There's
We're
nothing
mimicking
we can do.
Syracuse, they wouldn't be on the registry.
He's allowed to do that because he's paying his taxes and he's not following any code.
But then in theory, because the way our codes are set up in their registry, a mega buyer, big money buyer can come in and start just buying up as they go vacant and just literally shut our entire city down bankrupt. Because we would just be sitting on all these vacant properties and we would have absolutely, nobody would ever come to the city of Tonawanda. It would be a boarded up shanty town, but as long as those buildings are to code, we would have a complete empty downtown. And there's nothing we're powerless as a city.
Okay, but as a property owner, you have rights in the control of your properties and what you utilize them for. So we have to, on the flip side, think of you as a homeowner. You know,
But that's resident, I'm not talking residential, I'm talking commercial.
either way, you're still a property owner. Whether it's residential or commercial, you have to respect that property owner's rights.
Okay.
And while we might not appreciate, you know, a person painting their house purple, if that's what they're committed to do, that's what they're committed to do. If I'm permitted to buy a commercial property and keep it vacant, that's what I'm committed to do. Yeah, you might want to consider changes to your zoning laws.
Way to do something like this.
Yeah, whatever we have to do something, like, our downtown is getting more vacant by the day.
Right.
And businesses I heard another one, I don't want to discuss Facebook rumors, but I heard Good versus Evil is not going out of business. I can't, Facebook confirmed, but I pause yet. You what?
It saw something in the post that it was taking a pause.
Which he was pulling out.
Yeah.
Who was this again?
Good versus Evil between the American Legion and the Senior Center. It's another restaurant, but Twin City Deli across the street just pulled out. It's for rent.
He pulled out because he moved it forward.
It doesn't, but, and it's, but I get that he pulled out, moved to Florida, but in most cities, if someone pulls out of a downtown strip. When it's already established restaurant, someone else has already got their line, already talking to the realtor, going, get me in there, I can open up my restaurant. But
That's what we're looking for, is that kill.
regardless, he pulls out, Good versus Evil pulls out, the bigger properties are vacant.
Yeah.
And now we're just sitting, we have no incentive right now, we keep hearing talking about the DRI, and I get the DRI is this magical unicorn that's gonna save the city, but it might not show up till 2027, 2028. And what do we do until then, just keep letting the bleeding go? We gotta do something. Agree. Papa Grande's, I mean, wait, you wanna talk about it, you wanna go now, or?
Started, it's another conversation, Papa Grande's, as I told you, came in, my office a while ago, we talked, and made conversation, Chris and I met with them. Down at the canal, East Niagara was the best spot for it, actually, the top of the hub was. And, that's where the old administrative vision putting loops up along the top. And I really like it there, so Chris liked down here at the river, and so, East Niagara turned out to be not so good because it's owned by the, state. So, all the way from the Walk Bridge, all the way down to the Freight Bridge, so it's not a problem, so we can do stuff in the water, because building that ramp is different than being on the property. The property is not up, so, we can't do that, so we went down and looked at the top, and, we didn't like the top, we didn't think there was enough, activity, to promote people from down there. I said, well, hundreds of thousands of people drive this bike path right by you, and we'll cross that bridge in front of you. And so he liked, or Chris showed him down at the, front of the water, which I kind of liked it, but my concern, as I talked to more and more people, was he wants to have liquor down there, the river. They having liquor in our park was a concern, but you have to admit, mark it off, like they do a concert down there, SLA, compliant to put an area for them to sit. He does downtown now. The other concern I had was somebody said to me yesterday was, Claire, what do you do when you have concerts for kids? What do you do when you have Opie McDonald, Mickey night down there with a big, show? And you're selling liquor right behind them? So I don't know if that's the best fit for him down there. I think the best fit for him is going to be at the hub. Down there, he originally was 20 by 40, but now he's opened both sides of the Papa Grande, we'll say 20 by 40 gondola. He drops on the property, opens both of them up, and then he needs another 10 feet for his station, which will be his 10 by 10 for picket fence for his SLA. Then he's gonna need another 10 feet for his cooler, stand-up cooler. So you're talking almost 80 by 40 feet. So now it's a lot more than 2, 3, 4 booths. And I did talk him into looking at $5,000 a year. And what it will cost us to get it ready. I had engineering go down there, I had the water authority, and I had the electrical down there. It would cost me $10,000 to prepare the property for water coming from the bathroom, the nearest bathroom, and then the electric coming there also. In the same location. It's a heavy lift for us. You have to pick up the $10,000 lift plus paying $5,000 a year for 5 meters. He's paying us $45,000. The essence income, do we want to ruin your park? Or do you want to, is it expanding your park by putting the Papa Grandes down there? Or are you ruining the aesthetics of the park by putting a vendor down there? And I don't want to make the wrong move, and I want to make them think about what we're saying, because we do the first one, everybody's gonna want to follow. And then why didn't you tell me? Why did you choose Papa Friday? Why did you not let me the first shot? I just want it to be a snowball effect. And you guys are dedicating all that space to one vendor. One vendor.
It's we walked off, it's 40 by 100. It's, if you're familiar with the Miller band shell, behind the Miller band shell, it goes about halfway to where the bathrooms are. So it's between these two picnic table areas where they actually have cement pads down, about 100 feet, it's 100 by 40. That area from the bathroom to the Miller band shell, if I had to estimate it, it's probably 500. And then from the water to the top of the parking lot is probably about 200. So it's about a 500 by 200 area, and he's looking for 100 by 40 inside that footprint.
So I'm also gonna play devil's advocate on this. I went down there the other day just to watch the ice or whatever. That parking lot is. Every day. It is, not only that, but we're talking right down here. That parking lot is destroyed. If you're gonna start bringing in all those people down there, cars. Just think of traffic on a regular week, that's what I'm gonna say. That, I don't know if we do that parking lot from the band shelter all the way down to the boat launches is. There's almost nothing left of it.
What's the time frame? Like, when does he want
He
to
wanted
set up
it
shop?
Memorial Day through Columbus Day this year, because he says he can get his liquor license off the ground in 6 weeks. Because his liquor license in this restaurant is actually a spin-off of Papa Grande's in Amherst. So the SLA allows him to pull a secondary permit off of his main hub. Because he actually has a sit-down restaurant. Technically, this restaurant is a catering hub off of the main restaurant. He meets the health code standards. He has a portable water tank and sink.
I think it's a good idea.
The problem we had is when John and I first met him over by the Prescott's in that area, loved it. He loved it. His main goal was boating traffic. He wanted to bring the boaters to his restaurant. Can't do it like each way. So then we went behind the hub and he's going, I can't get boats, I can't get foot traffic, I can't get cars, the parking lot's on the other side of Walgreens, I don't like it. So then we showed him this, and it's doable, but now with these added costs, is he willing to commit to it? We're convincing ourselves that he might not even want in anymore.
I
So-
think it's a good idea to start talking about developing down there and putting things down there.
Well, this, the great thing about this is not development. It's it's not a food truck, but it's portable. It's not a permanent structure. So after 5 years, the worst we gotta do is tell them to leave and put some more grass seed down. And it's like,
It's a gondola, is what it is.
it's a shipping container.
But shipping.
Have you ever seen an Amazon shipping truck on the back of one of those boats that come overseas? He took one of those, he cut the
I know
sides.
what you're talking about.
How does this not qualify under our food truck permit?
Because it
and
doesn't have
vendors,
wheels. It's not mobile, and it's not there for a day, it's there for a whole summer. We have nothing, we are gonna create this as we are.
So the discussion was supposed to be here for this council with the resolution, because now we have the 2-week gap. Next council meeting is not till the 6th.
Right.
He needs a letter of intent to send it to SLA to even begin that 6-week process. There was some flexibility, he said, but if he doesn't get this thing up and running by June, he's already lost, this guy was saying over here, that by keys.
Right?
Well, I think the
What
letter,
action does the council need to take?
But there's gotta be an ordinance governing these things.
We don't have,
We have to.
which we'd have to do a
That would be
public.
council.
So you couldn't do that yet. We have to publish it 10 days before you vote on it.
what's the ordinance, to put a food trailer down at the water?
Well, it's not just that, we don't have any, you put a summer food trailer down.
Yeah.
It's a seasonal trailer. We don't have.
Seasonal food vendor, I don't know.
A seasonal food.
But again, we wanna be able to cancel it if there's a problem. We want to ensure.
Why couldn't he call the county about that hot dog?
Hold on.
He did. I have.
They took it down.
I thought it was-
Well, what about that area?
The town doesn't help us.
I don't know, but
I don't wanna ship a person with that kind of money to the town.
no, I
No.
love to find solutions, but.
We gotta find somewhere, well, we kept spitballing, we said, what about closer to the Pelosi Pavilion, the farther you go down, the less, because there's less boat traffic, there's less car traffic. So he goes,
Well,
just put me in.
But he has no boat traffic, you're not way.
no, but the boats will see, park, there's a possibility the boats will park and you'll, people on the bike path would walk down, there's bikes. We have to keep him somewhere in this corridor of our downtown area, whether it's from the Miller Band Shell. And one of the things him and I spitball, but it takes years, is trying to get ownership property rights, something of that section of, in front of Prescott's that they say is state land. Because we mow it, we're maintaining it, but it's state land, we can't use it.
Well, we have an agreement, right, that's what I heard. From the state that we mow it, and we clean it, we can say, fine, we won't touch it, we'll let it go this high, because it goes by it, we don't want it to.
It's just like CSX railroad.
Exactly, so
Yeah.
we maintain it, that's our job, we will maintain it for them and keep it looking good, and we can, continue operating with our food truck, not food truck. Well, actually, with our food trucks that we utilize during the fest, and different things that are down there. So we do whatever we can to keep it looking nice. What scares me the most about this is putting a shipping container in our park. This is gonna ruin the aesthetics of the park, that's this thing. I would love to see that place of boardwalk. A whole river of boardwalk, could you? Give us revenue forever, we just had it such underutilized, but so underutilized, but it's a park too, so like, I don't know what the legalities are about those things in the park.
I agree with you, Norm.
This is the first time it's been presented. to us.
Well, also,
Let's forward and figure it out.
City Hall's got a lot of money.
Anything else?
600 grand new window.
I'm done.
Milo? Mayor? I mentioned on the floor, but we need a resolution for our next meeting regarding the Canal Fest, or the dates we're moving in July. Other than that, I don't have anything else. I'll make a motion to adjourn, so I have a second. All those in favor?
Well, 9 o'clock.
My bed is calling me. Change your mind.
9 o'clock.
I don't want to believe it.